Ladies and gentlemen,
the President of the United States and the President of Mexico.
Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. I want to again welcome President Calderon to the White House. Michelle and I are delighted to be hosting the President and First Lady Margarita Zavala and their delegation for this state visit, and we're looking forward to returning the hospitality, the wonderful hospitality that we received in Mexico when we have our state dinner this evening. I've often said that in our interconnected world, where nations and peoples are linked like never before, both the promise and perils of our time are shared. Nowhere is this clearer than among the neighbors, the United States and Mexico. The trade and tourism between us creates jobs and prosperity for both our peoples. When a flu spreads, or an earthquake strikes, or cartels threaten innocent people, it affects lives on both sides of our common border. When our neighbors are in need, whether in Honduras or in Haiti, we respond together. And when we expand partnerships between our people, it forges connections that leads to greater prosperity and opportunity for decades to come. In pursuit of our shared future, I have a true partner in President Calderon. We've worked together in Mexico City, in Guadalajara, in Washington and Pittsburgh, in London and La Guila. And when he speaks before a joint session of Congress tomorrow, I believe the American people will see what I see. They'll see a leader who is guiding his country through very difficult times with vision and with courage, and he has been an outstanding partner to me and an outstanding partner to the United States. Indeed, our progress today marks another step forward in a new era of cooperation and partnership between our countries, a partnership based on mutual interests, mutual respect, and mutual responsibility. We agreed to continue working aggressively on our highest economic priority, which is creating jobs for our people. Mexico is one of our largest trading partners, with trade that supports countless jobs here in America and in Mexico. And because 80% of the trade passes over our land border, we reaffirmed our commitment to a 21st century border that is modern, secure, and efficient. And we're directing our governments to develop an action plan to move in this direction, because our shared border must be an engine and not a brake on our economic growth. To create jobs and increase our competitiveness in the global economy, we agreed to streamline regulations and strengthen the protection of intellectual property. We agreed to continue working with our G20 partners to encourage that global economic growth is balanced and sustained, especially as we approach next month's Toronto summit. And as the United States works to increase our exports and the jobs that come with it, we'll be working closely with our partners in Mexico, which is one of the largest markets for American exports, to create clean energy jobs and industries of the future. We're building on a partnership we launched last year with new initiatives to promote regional renewable energy markets, green buildings, and smart grid technology. These initiatives will also help us implement the commitments we made at Copenhagen, especially as we work toward the climate conference in Cancun later this year. And let me say that as a leader in cutting greenhouse gas emissions and in helping developing countries do the same, Mexico's leadership under President Calderon has been and will be critical. For the sake of our shared prosperity and security, we discussed the need for immigration that is orderly and safe, and we acknowledge that both our countries have responsibilities. President Calderon is working hard to create jobs so that more Mexicans see a future of opportunity in their country. To fix our broken immigration system, I reaffirmed my deep commitment to working with Congress in a bipartisan way to pass comprehensive immigration reform. And comprehensive reform means accountability for everybody. Government that is accountable for securing the border, businesses being held accountable when they exploit workers, people who break the law by breaching our borders being held accountable by paying taxes and a penalty and getting right with the law before they can earn their citizenship. We've been working hard to get this done. There's a strong proposal in the Senate based on a bipartisan framework, and it can and should move forward. We also discussed the new law in Arizona, which is a misdirected effort a misdirected expression of frustration over our broken immigration system, and which has raised concerns in both our countries. Today, I want every American to know my administration has devoted unprecedented resources in personnel and technology to securing our border. Illegal immigration is down, not up, and we will continue to do what's necessary to secure our shared border. And I want everyone, American and Mexican, to know my administration is taking a very close look at the Arizona law. We're examining any implications, especially for civil rights, because in the United States of America, no law-abiding person, be they an American citizen, a legal immigrant, or a visitor or tourist from Mexico, should ever be subject to suspicion simply because of what they look like. President Calderon and I also reaffirmed our commitment to stand together against the drug cartels that have unleashed horrific violence in so many communities. Mr. President, you and the Mexican people have shown great resolve in a fight for the security and safety of your country. And as I pledged to you before, Mexico can count on the United States as a full partner in this effort. As your partner, we'll give you the support you need to prevail. Through increased law enforcement on our side of the border, we're putting unprecedented pressure on those who traffic in drugs, guns, and people. We're working to stem the southbound flow of American guns and money, which is why for the first time we are now screening 100% of southbound rail cargo. And guided by our new national drug control strategy, we're bringing new approaches to reducing the demand for drugs in our country. As regional partners, the President and I discussed the situation in Honduras and the need for continued cooperation to support the people of Haiti as they recover and they rebuild. And as global partners, and given Mexico's seat on the UN Security Council, we agreed on the need for Iran to uphold its international obligations or face increased sanctions and pressure, including UN sanctions. And I'm pleased that we've reached an agreement with our P5+1 partners on a strong resolution that we now have shared with our Security Council partners. Finally, I'm proud that we're expanding exchanges between our college and university students and launching a new exchange program for our high school students. I'd note that it was a Mexican student at an American university who went on to become the president who stands next to me today. And with these exchanges, we'll bring together the next generation of American and Mexican leaders. This is the progress that we've made today. It's progress that calls to mind a Mexican proverb that I'm told says, "Tell me who you walk with, and I will tell you who you are." Mr. President, the United States is proud to walk with Mexico. And through our work, we're reminded again of who we are, which is two neighbors, two partners, bound by a common vision of prosperity and security for both our people. President Calderon.
Thank you, President. Thank you, President.
Muchas gracias.
Good afternoon. Señoras y señores de los medios de comunicación.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank the kind invitation of the people and the government of the United States to carry out this visit. And I am the bearer of a respectful and affectionate greeting of the Mexican people to this nation, which is our neighbor and friend. I would like to thank the words and the hospitality of President Barack Obama. The United States and Mexico are nations that trade, dialogue, and complement each other economically, mutually. We are nations that have a political understanding of the highest level, and we are also countries with a fruitful dynamic and ties between people, communities, public and private institutions throughout 3,000 kilometers of border. Our relationship is characterized by an honest and open dialogue based on trust, respect, and co-responsibility. As it has been stated by President Obama, this morning we held a broad and fruitful dialogue. We reviewed our bilateral relationships, the problems, the challenges, and also the many opportunities that we face. We analyzed different proposals and visions on the side of Mexico and the United States to strengthen North America as a region. We talked about the relevance of solving our differences and trade problems in the fastest possible way. We covered the border topics such as security, migration, and we also examined initiatives to consolidate our cooperation in global scenarios and global interests. I can highlight here that the areas where we agree are broader than our differences. There is a broad convergence of interests, and this is not only given to the fact that we share common goals, but there is a will on both of us to turn the fact of being neighbors into a partnerships that will act as a leveler for shared development. Fortunately,